the Maharaja, and you're watching Eric's Collection World.
Hey yo, welcome back to the channel. I am Eric the Dudley Dog, and for today's video, we're gonna change things up a bit. We're gonna be opening up and completing a couple of Marvel Legends Build-A-Figures. Namely, Marvel's Zabu, the saber-toothed tiger, and Chod. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Now, if you're wondering why I decided to put these Build-A-Figures together in pieces instead of their respective waves, is because originally I had no intention of getting the full wave for each of these Build-A-Figures. Like, I never really thought of completing the Chod Build-A-Figure. I only actually wanted these three characters, which is Chamber, Emma Frost, and Monet St. Croix. But the other figures in the wave went on sale for pretty low prices, and I saw the review of Chod by Kyle Patterson, and that sold me to complete the set. For the Zabu wave, I only originally wanted Cable, because this is the Cable from the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 games. But then as they announced Shanna would be coming out as an SDCC exclusive, I thought why not just finish it up so I can get Zabu, Khazar, and Shanna together. But then again, now it seems like I might not be able to get Shanna because the guy that I normally get this stuff from says he might not be able to supply it. And if I can find it elsewhere to go for it, but the problem is now I can't find it elsewhere. So we'll see how that pans out. And with that said, let's get to opening up the figures. Let's start things off with the Generation X trio of Chamber, Emma Frost, and Monet St. Croix. Now, a long time ago, I used to be very big on the Generation X team. I used to read their comics. And unfortunately, I can barely remember much about it today because I haven't read it in a long time. But I remember Chamber is like I believe his body is living energy or something, and his body is now just a chamber to hold it in. And I believe at one point his body completely burnt out, and that I think they gave him like artificial body, I think. I might be wrong on that. Monet St. Croix, I believe her nickname was M, and she was like superhuman or something. She has superhuman strength and can fly, something like Rogue, I think, but without the energy absorbing ability. And Emma Frost, I believe everybody knows as the White Queen. And she was like the headmaster of the school in charge of Generation X, which was separate from Xavier's main facility for the X-Men. Other members of Generation X that I remember was Jubilee, which they have quite a few Marvel Legends figures of already, and Husk, which was recently released in the Nemesis Build-A-Figure wave. One member from the team I remember, which I believe doesn't have a figure yet, is Skin, which I believe was a Latino guy with extra layers of skin on his body. Hopefully one day they'll put him out so they can complete the team. And I'm drawing a blank on who else might... Oh yeah, there's one other member, which I believe was Penance, which I believe was she's a mutant, a red skin mutant with diamond hard skin and razor sharp claws, if I remember right. And not really a direct member of the team, but she's mostly hanging around the school doing her own thing. I really don't know how that story finished off, as I didn't really follow the comics too much after that. After the initial run, I believe it. Maybe I should look into it again. On to the figures. First up out of the box is Chamber. Accessories wise, he only comes with 2 fist hands. And the Build-A-Figure part, Chod's left arm. But the character itself, yeah, very nice. He might look like he's having a flaming beard, but that's not really it. He's not like the son of Endeavor or anything. It's just that his energy body is trying to escape its chamber. Nice black leather jacket. The only thing I believe I have a problem with is it's not easy for him to stand for some reason. See? It's his feet. I don't know, the heels on his feet, they're not flat. You can see there's like a bit of a curve on it. So I think you'll have to put him like a certain standing pose if you want him to stand up straight or to hold any kind of pose. There's limited articulation in his head because of his energy power. You could probably take off his head and use his body for any plain Jane character. Overall, if you're a fan of Generation X like I am, or was, no question you'll want to get this to add to your collection. Next up out of the box is Monet St. Croix. For accessories, out of the box she has a claw-like hand and a fist hand, so her accessories is the same thing but for the opposite hands. So a right fist and a left grabbing hand or something, I guess, or a clawing hand. And she comes with the right, is this the right leg? Yeah, the right leg for Chod. As for the character itself, yeah, pretty obvious. Head articulation is limited because of her hair. The belt's a standalone piece. And that everything else works as should be. Double knees, double elbows. So it'll be easy to get her into action poses. And she stands easier than Chamber does. And here is Emma Frost out of the packaging, and while I was taking her out, I noticed a few problems with this figure. Out of the package, she has an open hand and a fist hand already on, so the accessory she comes with is just the opposite for each hand. Fist hand and the open hand. But the main problem of the figure itself is the way she's designed. Because of this cape, you get no movement out of her arms other than from the elbow down. And she doesn't even have double elbows. So articulation wise, you are very, very limited for what you can do. And because she also has heels on her feet, also makes things difficult to pose her. Even standing also was a bit of a workaround. But surprisingly still easier than Chamber. Looks wise, I'm not sure if the face is supposed to be going for the January Jones look, but yeah. Beautiful blonde woman. And a telepath at that. But really, yeah, this cape, I'm not even sure if it's removable, is it? It's like it's glued on. Now I see what all the fuss was about. I mean, like, what's the point of you giving her alternate hands also if she can't do anything? No proper action poses. So yeah, this might be the dud of the group. Let's get to Chod. And here is the big man of the group in all his glory. He's kind of based on the creature from the Black Lagoon or something. But if I'm not mistaken, his body is mostly from the Abomination figure. His articulated mouth. Always like small details like that. And the figure is your basic articulation, but no double elbows. And a bit stiff. Even his knees are not double knees. Yeah, single knees only. But hey, he just needs to stand there and look intimidating. He's got a belt. And for comparison, here's Abomination himself. Yeah, you can see the body is mostly reused parts. Just some recoloring done. I think the only big difference is, like, other than the heads, is like the arms. He doesn't have the fins on his arms like Chod does. Other than that, yeah, everything mostly the same. But Chod has a belt. And here is a group shot with some other Generation X members as I remember them. Jubilee, Husk, and Banshee. Banshee was the teacher, and Emma was the headmistress of the school at that time for this particular group, if I remember right. Like I said earlier, hopefully they release a figure for Skin and Penance. For me, that would complete this team. Let's move on to the next batch. And these are the next three figures we're going to take a look at from the Zabu wave. Wolfsbane, Cable, and Khazar. First up is Khazar. And this guy is a huge throwback back to the 80s when, like, everything was a sword and sandal story. I mean, like, there were a lot of cartoons back then, even when the characters were like barbarians or Vikings or wandering swordsman in a lost world. Accessories wise, you can see he has 2 open hands out of the box. So he comes with 2 fists. And for some reason he has 2 trigger fingers, 2 trigger hands. But he doesn't have any guns. Instead, what he does come with is a dagger and a spear. But the figure itself, yeah, it's something you can easily fit into like a He-Man collection. A ripped and jacked body. Hey, he's got butterfly joints. In a sense, kind of the stereotypical musclehead blonde guy from the 80s. I am really not familiar with the story of Khazar. Next up is Feral, who I believe is a member of the X-Men based on the X symbol on her chest. Accessories wise, out of the box she has the clawed hands, so she comes with 2 fists. And she comes with the main body part for Zabu. And I forgot to mention Khazar comes with the front leg for Zabu. For the figure itself, it's very nicely done, face is nicely painted, and there's actually some articulation in the head that can look up and down. It's a small detail, but it's much appreciated when figures can get that done. You can see double elbows, double knees. All the articulation you could want for a feral character. And now we get to what I consider the main event of this review. Cable. A very good interpretation of Cable from Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I believe it was. The main reason most people wanted to go in on this Cable, I believe you saw in my previous video I had the Cable from X-Men 97. But I'm probably going to use this one in my display. I don't really display mine based on any specific group or timeline or storyline or whatever. If it looks good to me, it goes in the display together as part of the team anyway. I mean, because I believe the 97 version was a lot bulkier than this one. Accessories wise, out of the box he has a fist and an open hand, and the only other hands he comes with are 2 trigger finger hands. Why they wouldn't give him another fist, I don't know. And he comes with 2 guns. I believe one's a pistol, one's probably a shotgun. But the figure itself, yeah, very nice. He got that psychic effect coming out of his eye. No butterfly joints on this one though. But he does have the double elbows and the double knees. And another staples of 90s comics, all those little pockets. Not once in any of the comics or cartoons, I believe, have they actually shown them have any use for these pockets. But heck, it was a 90s thing. And finally, here's a look at the Build-A-Figure Zabu. Big saber-toothed tiger. With quite a bit of articulation on him for a big cat. Articulated mouth. I thought it would be a lot bulkier than this though. But he goes just well with Khazar. Now, like I said, the main reason I wanted to complete this BAF is because I thought I would get the Shana to complete the trio, but now it seems that it's in limbo somewhere. Not sure if I can find that figure now. And if I do find it, I'll probably be asking for some astronomical prices for it. Also, we'll just have to see how that goes. And here's a look at everything we unboxed today, including the 2 Build-A-Figures in all their glory. Now, apologies if my reviews are not as detailed as others would do, but for me, I'm mostly just going through unboxing all this stuff so I can get them out of the way and into a display shelf and clear up the space in my collection room. But yeah, comment below if you think there's anything I can do to improve. I know I'm doing all this off the top of my head without a script. Or any research on the characters for that matter. Because I've missed like years of X-Men comics and stuff, so I'm very out of the loop for Marvel comics characters. Anyway, with that said, I got a big weekend coming up this weekend on the 18th and the 19th of October. I'll be at Bintang Mega Mall for the MYY Hobbies and Collectors Fest 5.0. It's gonna be the biggest hobby convention in Miri this year. I'll be there as a vendor. Please drop by and say hi if you're in the area. Come and talk toys, because I love talking toys with fellow collectors. So thanks for watching. Please thumbs up the video if you liked it, thumbs down if you dislike it. I'll take any support I can get. See you guys in the next one.